In today's topic, we are going to discuss about form validation using JavaScript. JavaScript form validation. HTML form validation can be done by JavaScript. That is what is known as JavaScript form validation. If a form field, for example, form name or fname is empty, this function alerts a message and returns false to prevent the form from being submitted. Here, we will see a JavaScript example. There is a function validate form that validates whether a form field is empty or not. First we will see the JavaScript function and we will go for the UI part, HTML code for a label and input text field. See, in this example there is a function validate form. First a variable is initialized. X is the name of the variable and the initialization is from a form. Document.forms of my form fname.value. See, in this particular statement, document.forms means in our document there is a form with the name my form and there is a particular field that is having a name fname, and that value, there is a property, value property is there. The corresponding value in that particular text field from my form will be collected and that will be stored in variable x, followed by an if condition is there, x equal to empty string. If nothing is there in that particular text field, that means that if name field is returning an empty string or null value, then one alert message will be displayed with a command name must be filled out and false is the value to be retained. So this is how this particular function validate form is defined. Now we will see a complete web page. There is validation with respect to a particular text field as we said in the validate form function. In this example, doc type is HTML followed by HTML tag is there, then head tag, script tag. In our script tag there is a function. Function name is same, validate form, followed by a variable is initialized with a form, my form, that is the name of the form from our document, and a particular field name or text field name is specified, that is fname dot value. This value property will collect the value from a text field with the name fname from my form, that is the name of the form from our document, and that is stored in x. Again, x is equal to empty string, an alert message will be there. If suppose empty string is there, nothing is entered in that particular text field, then alert message will display name must be filled out and returns false. Otherwise, that returns true. Okay. See, in our form, that is in body, form tag name is equal to my form, and action page is specified here, and PHP file is specified that we will be discussing in our fourth module or fifth module. Then another property is there, on submit is equal to return validate form. See, this is the event handling on submit, that is the event handler, and on submitting that particular form, validate form function will be called by the event handler. So what is the value retained with respect to true or false, the submission will be performed. If that function retains a false value, nothing will be submitted, otherwise submission will be performed. Followed by another method property, that is equal to post. After that a label is there. We can include this particular name in label tag, but it is without using that label tag, it is specified here, followed by an input type is equal to text. A text field is specified and a name value is specified there. Name property is set to fname. So this is the fname control or text box or text field control from my form. Okay, so document.forms of my form fname dot value will return the value from this particular text field. Okay, then another control is there, that is input type is equal to submit. It's a submit button and value is equal to submit. So this is how our UI is defined. There is a label name followed by a text field is there, and followed by that a submit button is there. On clicking on a submit button, suppose something is entered in that particular text field, it will return true and the value will be passed over to the server, otherwise nothing will be happen. Alert message will show name must be filled out. This is how validation is performed. What is the need for validation? Validation is required for transmitting error-free data from the client to the server for immediate processing. Otherwise, server has to validate the data collected from client and to process the data. So it's an overhead. Every time server need to communicate with the client for correcting the error in data and all. So what we are doing is we will clear all the errors from the data and send that error-free data to the server. So for that validation is used. Now we will see another example. Automatic validation, HTML form validation that is done automatically. So there will be some properties in HTML elements. That properties are used for automatic HTML form validation and the scope is very limited. When we are using JavaScript for validation, its scope is enormous. So suppose HTML form validation, the required field and all is limited access. HTML form validation can be performed automatically by the browser. If a form field is empty, the required attribute prevents this form from being submitted. So we need to make a particular field mandatory. For that we will be using some particular attributes here. In this example, HTML, in our body tag, inside our body and slash body tags, a form is specified, an action property is set with a value, that is a PHP file, method is equal to post, then followed by input type is equal to text, name is equal to fname, and another property is there that is required. So that required means it's a mandatory field. Without filling any value in that particular text field, we cannot proceed further. And followed by input type is equal to submit, value is equal to submit. There is a message. If you click submit without filling out the text field, your browser will display an error message. Okay. It's a mandatory field because required attribute is specified with the first input field, that is a type is equal to text. So this is how automatic form validation is done by browser by using HTML properties. Now, what is data validation? Data validation is the process of ensuring that user input is clean, correct and useful. This is how error-free data is produced. We need to clean, correct and make it useful. For example, suppose we need to give a mobile number. 10 digits are allowed in mobile number. Suppose by mistake, instead of 9, 8, we will be using UI or some ABC, XYZ, something like that. It will create some error. So for example, suppose a particular server need to contact the client by sending a message or by calling to his phone number or her phone number, then it will not proceed further because of the error in data. So data validation is the process of ensuring that user input is clean, correct and useful. There are typical validation tasks that are: has the user filled in all required fields or not? Has the user entered a valid date or not? Has the user entered text in a numeric field or not? So such information, such mistakes can be corrected, and such errors are cleaned and made it available to the server. So these are the typical validation tasks. Most often, the purpose of data validation is to ensure correct user input. Validation can be defined by many different methods and deployed in many different ways. Server-side validation is performed by a web server after input has been sent to the server. Client-side validation is performed by a web browser before input is sent to a web server. So here JavaScript is using client side validation, not server side. So after cleaning and correcting all mistakes in our input data, our web browser is forwarding error-free data to the web server. That is what we are doing over here. There are different types of validation methods and techniques. You will see some more. HTML constraint validation. HTML5 introduced a new HTML validation concept called constraint validation. HTML constraint validation is based on constraint validation HTML input attributes, just like we had seen a required attribute. Okay. Some more attributes are there. We will see that. Then the second validation, constraint validation CSS pseudo selectors. And the third one, constraint validation using DOM properties and methods. See, these are the three different constraint validation. Constraint validation based on HTML input attributes, constraint validation based on CSS pseudo selectors, constraint validation based on DOM properties and methods. First we will see constraint validation using HTML input attributes. See, there are 6 different attributes are given here. Disabled. The attributes are disabled, max, min, pattern, regrade, type. The disabled attribute specifies the input element should be disabled. Max attribute specifies the maximum value of an input element, and the min attribute specifies the minimum value of an input element. Pattern specifies the value pattern of an input element, email pattern and all, just like that. Required specifies that the input field requires an element. It's a mandatory field to fill. Type specifies the type of an input element, number, text, etc. Constraint validation CSS pseudo selectors. Selectors are disabled, invalid, optional, required, and valid. Colon disabled selects input element with the disabled attribute specified. Invalid selects input element with invalid values. We can specify a set of invalid values. Optional selects input element with no required attribute specified. On the other hand, we can specify a required attribute, selector attribute. Selects input elements with the required attribute specified. Valid selects input element with valid values. The next thing is with respect to DOM methods. So methods are there. Constraint validation DOM methods are check validity, set custom validity. The check validity method returns true if an input element contains valid data. The set custom validity sets the validation message property of an input element. We will see an example now. Here, after HTML tag, we have specified body tag, then a paragraph tag. The content is enter a number and click OK, followed by that message, enter a number and click OK message. One input type number, input number field is specified. Input ID is equal to ID1, ID value is specified as ID1, and the type is number, followed by 3 DOM HTML attributes. HTML attributes are min, max, and required. The minimum value set is 100 and maximum value is 300. So in between, including 100 and 300, you can specify a value. And the input number field is a required one. There is no optional tag associated with that particular input number field. And after that, a button is specified on click. A JavaScript function is invoked, that is my function, and the label of that button is OK. Followed by that button tag, a paragraph tag is there. If the number is less than 100 or greater than 300, an error message will be displayed. And after that, the error message will be displayed in a particular paragraph tag with the ID demo using get element by ID, and in a HTML property we will display the message. In our script tag, there is a function, JavaScript function name is my function. A variable is displayed here. The assigned value is input obj is the name of the variable, and the assigned value is document.getElementById by id1. So here we will get the elements value id1, that is the input number field value. That value will be stored in input obj, inb obj, and there is a condition check, inb obj dot check validity equal to false. See here, the condition is along with a DOM method. Condition is along with a DOM method. The check validity method returns true if an input element contains valid data. So the validity will be checked by check validity method. So it's a constraint validation using DOM method. Check validity method is used over here. Document.getElementById demo.innerHTML is equal to input obj.validation message. Validation message is a predefined one, so that particular message will be displayed when an error condition is raised, else the input is okay. See here, in our example, the input id is equal to id1, the first input number field, type is equal to number, min is equal to 100, max is equal to 300, and required attributes, these three attributes are specified. For example, if the number is less than 100 or greater than 300, an error message will be displayed by the check validity methods condition check. Using this check validity method, a condition is checked. At the same time, if that particular value is equal to false, if that particular value is equal to false, in that case, an input obj gets a validation message. The error message will be the validation message over here. If the value comes under or in between 100 and 300, including 100 and 300, there will not be any error message. In that particular case, check validity method will return true. So obviously, input obj.check validity equal to false, this particular condition will become false, and else part will be evaluated. So input OK message will be displayed if the entered number is in between 100 and 300. Suppose 100 and 300, these two values are also acceptable. In between, including 100 and 300 is acceptable. So if suppose the value is less than 100 or greater than 300, an error message will be displayed. So the check validity method evaluates to false and validation message will be updated. So this is how the constraint validation using DOM method and along with HTML attributes are working. We will see some DOM properties, constraint validation DOM properties, validity, validation message, and will validate. We have used one validation message. So input obj.validation message that we have used in our previous example. So first thing is validity, contains Boolean properties related to the validity of an input element. And the second one is validation message, contains the message a browser will display when the validity is false. So it's a predefined message that is displayed by the browser when the check validation or check validity is false. Will validate indicate if an input element will be validated. So it's a will validate indicated if an input element is being or it will be validated. So these are the constraint validation DOM properties. Validity properties. The validity property of an input element contains a number of properties related to the validity of data. We will see some of the properties and its description. Custom error. Custom error is set to true if a custom validity message is set. A custom validity message is set. In that particular case, custom error is set to true. The user can give a particular validity message. Pattern mismatch, set to true if an element's value does not match its pattern attribute. For example, email @ and dot symbols are included with an email. For example, fisat @ fisat.ac.in. Suppose there is no at the rate symbol and dot symbol, then it is not a valid one. So pattern is not correct, so we can set a particular pattern. So pattern mismatch is the property here that is set to true if an element's value does not match its pattern attribute. Range overflow and range underflow, that we will see in the next example. Range overflow is set to true if an element's value is greater than its maximum attribute, max attribute. Range underflow set to true if an element's value is less than its min attribute, that we will see. Step mismatch set to true if an element's value is invalid per its step attribute. Too long set to true if an element's value exceeds its max length attribute. Type mismatch set to true if an element's value is invalid per its type attribute. Value missing set to true if an element has no values. Suppose we are not entering a particular value, then value missing attribute is set to true. Valid set to true if an element's value is valid. We will see an example here. If the number in an input field is greater than 100, display a message. The input's max attribute is set here, greater than 100, then max is equal to 100 will be set here. We will see. In this example, range underflow is implemented. That means if the number is less than a particular value, that the minimum attribute is set here. In that particular case, if the value is coming below that particular set minimum value, range underflow is evaluated. So here there is a paragraph element that gives a message like enter a number and click OK, followed by an input number field is there, input id is equal to id1, type is equal to number, min is equal to 100. Then a button is specified. Button on click is implemented as a function called my function is the name of the JavaScript function here, that is there in the script, and the label is OK. If the number is less than 100, the input's min attribute, we already set the min attribute number field, input id is equal to id1, type is equal to number, and min is equal to 100, that is already set. The input's min attribute value is less than a particular specified value over here is 100, an error message will be displayed. Then that will be displayed in the paragraph element with the id is equal to demo. In our script function, my function, that is having a txt variable that is assigned with an empty string, followed by a condition check is there. If document.getElement by id, id1, that is the number field, dot validity dot range underflow. So in this particular case, range underflow is evaluated when a particular min value is less than the given value. Min attribute value is less than the given value. In that particular case, txt value is updated to value too low. So txt is equal to value too low, or else input is OK. Input OK. So txt value is updated. So document.getElement by id demo.in.html txt. For example, suppose you are entering 90 instead of 100 or an above value, a greater value. Suppose you are pressing typing 90, then validity underflow, range underflow will invoked. So it's a predefined method. So validity of that particular range value is evaluated and it is coming under a particular level. Range underflow is here, so min is equal to 100, so it goes below 100, then range underflow will give a particular message. In our case, this becomes a true. For example, 90 is the value, validity dot range underflow evaluates to true, and txt value is updated with value too low, otherwise input is OK. This is how this range underflow property is working. Now we will see range overflow. Don't look at the red colored letter, that is not the correct method or property used over here. So in this example, enter a number and click OK. Here, if the number is bigger than a particular value, so in our case, in input id is equal to id1, type is equal to number, max value is set to 300. If the number is bigger than 300, that is the input's max attribute value greater than the input's max attribute value, an error message will be displayed. For that we will be using range overflow method, and followed by a message is there, and a paragraph id which is equal to paragraph tag with id is equal to demo is specified. In our script function, my function is there. So var txt is equal to empty string if document dot get element by id id1 dot validity dot range overflow. If the value is greater than 300, for example 301 is the value you have input, then range overflow will be evaluated, the validity will be changed over there. So in that particular case it's a range overflow value, so it gives a true value as the return value. Then txt value is updated with value too big value too big, or else txt is equal to input OK. So that value is updated to the paragraph tag with id is equal to demo using the inner html property. Either value is too big if it goes beyond 300, or else input is OK. So this is how this particular program is working. When a user fills in a form input element incorrectly and JavaScript event handler function detects the error, the function should do several things. It produces an alert message indicating the error and specify the correct format of the input. It should cause the input element to be put in focus, which positions the cursor in the element. For example, you are clicking on a particular text field or number field, then that particular field is getting the focus. This is how focus is given. This is done with the focus method. So in programming we can use focus method for getting the focus of a particular control, which must be called through the DOM address of the element. Example, the element's id is font. The element can put in focus by using this command document.element get element by id font dot focus. This puts the cursor in the font text box, and the function should select the element which highlights the text in the element. This is done with the method select method document.get element by id font dot select. So focus method gives the focus, that means the cursor will be there in that particular text field by using focus. If suppose a previous value is there, then select method will select that particular value from that particular control. So these are the uses of focus and select methods. If an event handler returns false, that tells the browser not to perform any default action of the event. For example, if the event is a click on the submit button, the default action is to submit the form data to the server for processing. If the event handler returns false, the bad data isn't sent to the server. We will see another example that checks the username and password. Input password checking using submit event. So here there is a function in this particular example. It's a JavaScript file password underscore chk.js, that is the name of the file. You can save in any name with the extension .js. An example of input password checking using submit event by using an event handler function. So in our JavaScript function, the function name is check password check pwd, that is the name of the function. So there are two variables, init and sec, initial and second. Document.get element by id initial, and the second variable scc is equal to document.get element by id second. So init is equal to a particular value of a particular field element with the id initial, and the second one is the value associated with a text field with the id second. Then a condition check is there. If init.value is equal to empty string, then alert please enter the password. Then it gets the focus. Init.focus means that particular init text field is having the cursor now, and also it returns false. And the second condition is if init.value not equal to second dot value, both the values are compared and both are not equal, then alert the two passwords are not the same re-enter. So whether the first given password and second given password are not matching, then we need to get an alert message. And after that, init.focus and init.select. So second initial will be getting focus and initial will be selected, and type the new password over there, then that will be changed. The same way the second password also we need to change, or else return true, or else the case is successful. That is how it is working. Then register the event handler for password check. So another password checker.js, there is a file, two commands are there. Document.getElement by id second dot on blur is equal to check password, check pwd. The same way on submit is also the same. Document.getElement by id my form is the submitted form, so a form is being submitted every time. Dot on submit is equal to check pwd. So both the values are checked over there, and the event handlers for password is being checked here. So this is how the event handlers with respect to password checking is worked. Two different text fields are there, one for initial password and the second password second time. So we need to check whether the given password, both the passwords are equal or not. So it's making it error free and confirming. Okay, so this is how the validation works. Thank you.